Dustin Poirier comments on Twitter, "What's next?" After Jonathan said Dustin Poirier is the only man to ever submit Michael Chandler, the only man to ever KO Conor McGregor, and to finish Max Holloway inside of the UFC. The only person to do it. The only person to do all of those three things. He's sitting, I believe, at number 2 or number 3. I'm not too sure if they moved Beneil up there. He's at number 2 in the UFC's lightweight division, beating guys like the number 3 Justin Gaethje, the number 5 Michael Chandler, the number 11 Dan Hooker, and that's about it in the top 15, but also Conor McGregor, who is near the top of this UFC lightweight division. He did lose to Charles Oliveira, but he's already got a fight. Beneil Dariush already has a fight. He just beat Chandler. Fiziyev's coming off a loss. Gamrot lost to Beneil, and he's only beaten Jalen Turner. Dos Anjos is in welterweight. Arman Tsarukyan has a fight. It sounds very simple here, ladies and gentlemen. What's next? Says Dustin the Diamond Poirier. It's quite simple. It is quite simple. You look at the entire top 15 of the lightweight division. Any of these guys from 10 to 15, they're not getting the step up to number 2. And even the younger guys like Jalen Turner coming off a loss. Arman already has a fight. Gamrot lost to a guy that's ranked below Dustin Poirier in the lightweight division. But there is a guy that is coming off a win in the UFC's lightweight division, top 5. And it just so happens that Poirier has already beat him. But is Poirier going to get a title shot off a Michael Chandler win? No. If Islam goes out there and beats Beneil Dariush, or he beats Charles Oliveira in a rematch, whatever the case may be, I don't know what's going to happen there. Whatever happens in either one of those two fights, is Dustin Poirier just immediately going to get the title shot after a Michael Chandler win? It's not happening. So it leaves one thing. And that one thing is pretty damn awesome. Pretty gosh dang awesome. Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 2. And oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys can see the water that is flooding out of my mouth at the moment, but if you watch the first fight, and if you watch any Justin Gaethje fight, and if you watch any Dustin Poirier fight, you know this is pure violence. You knew Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev would be pure violence. Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, pure violence. You know any fight that Justin Gaethje's opponent can survive over a round or two, those later rounds are going to be pure violence. And you know for a fact Poirier is going to be able to survive a little bit there. He's definitely going to be able to survive and probably even beat Justin Gaethje should they rematch in the UFC's lightweight division. And I think that's what's going to happen. I do think that's what's going to happen. Do I expect a finish? No! I predicted a decision in the Michael Chandler fight and in the Rafael Fiziev fight as well. Poirier could very well finish Justin Gaethje. Gaethje has been finished by Khabib and Oliveira and Poirier again and Eddie Alvarez, for sure. But I think should they fight again, it's going to be pure violence for 5 rounds. For 5 full rounds in the UFC's lightweight division. Now, we got to figure out when this could happen, because Poirier, it's been a while since Poirier's fought. Been a while since that Michael Chandler fight, and he's already getting a little antsy. He's saying, what's next? Who's the next fight? Justin Gaethje just kind of fought. He was the co-main event of UFC 286 not too long ago, so it's not like we can make this the main event of a fight night in March or April. We got to go more down the line to maybe even June, July time period inside the UFC. And I'm gonna try to figure out a card that would make sense as the main event for this pure violence of a fight. May 20th is interesting. Hermanson versus Allen, UFC 289. I don't think May 20th would work because UFC 286 was March, April, May. That'd be about 2 months. That's not really enough time for Justin Gaethje after going off that much of a banger type of a fight. So I'm going to rule out May 20th as the main event. June 3rd already got one. They're not main eventing a pay-per-view or anything. June 17th, June 24th. Those are interesting. Those are interesting indeed. Those are very, very interesting, actually. I'm going to say not June 24th. Not June 24th. I'm going to say that this in between UFC 290 and the O2 Arena. I say that makes an amazing, amazing time because that gives Justin Gaethje a long, long while. So beginning of March, April, May, June, July. That's about 3 months and some change for Justin Gaethje to return to mixed martial arts. I think the UFC Fight Night main event right after UFC 290. So July 15th. That's where I'd like to see it. July 15th. Because we already talked about Ilya Topuria, Josh Emmett probably going to be added to UFC 290. John Jones versus Stipe on it. Volkanovski versus Yair on it. Adding Poirier versus Gaethje onto the card would be awesome. I would love it. Especially if they made it a 5-round, not main event, not co-main event, just a random 5-round fight on the pay-per-view. I would love it for sure. But you got to give the spotlight because John Jones and all of them, they're going to kind of outshine a little bit for the popularity and stuff for UFC 290. So I don't really want to put such a banger like this on a pay-per-view. I want to give this to the fans for free. UFC Fight Night main event, making July 2023 one of the most stacked fight months in history. That's what I want. That's what I want. Because you got the International Fight Week UFC 290 stacked card. You got a main event with Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier the week after a banger UFC 290 card. And then you got the O2 Arena with Aspinall, Marcin Tybura. You got Patty on the card. You got Arnold Allen taking on, I don't even know. That month of July would be just absolutely vicious. That month of July could go down in history as the best month of mixed martial arts ever. If we can get Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier as a main event in between them, my life is set. That's what I want. That is what I want. I don't know if that's what you guys want, but that kind of gives both of them enough time to come back by July, around the time that maybe Conor McGregor could be coming back. You never know. But right in between two other amazing cards, you add a violence main event with Gaethje and Dustin Poirier. That is what I want. And I hope the UFC gives it to me. Prediction? I didn't give that yet, did I? Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. I would go Dustin Poirier 48-47, 48-47, and a 49-46 unanimous decision. I think one of the rounds that Gaethje wins, he's going to rock and drop Dustin Poirier. The other rounds, I expect violence. I expect more violence. I expect Poirier to knock him down, take down Justin Gaethje. I expect a war. And I do lean Dustin Poirier in that war. But we shall see. Do y'all think it will be made? Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. Should it happen? Will it happen? Put your thoughts down below. That's a banger. That is a banger.